My friends everywhere, I hope you enjoyed the story. Don't forget to encourage us by leaving a like or a comment, and let us know where you're watching from. Love you all!
Our story begins in the grand, luxurious mansion of Mr. Alfred's family. Mr. Alfred was sitting on the sofa, a cup of Nescafé in his hand, sipping it and thinking to himself.
Finally, some peace after a long, tiring day.
He had barely taken a sip when his phone rang.
Who ruined this beautiful moment?
He looked at the phone and saw it was his son calling.
Yes, my boy, how are you?
But a strange voice answered.
Are you Mr. Edward's father? Yes? What is it? I don't know how to tell you. Your son is dead.
Mr. Alfred froze, his voice trembling.
You're joking, aren't you? I understand your shock. Edward was my friend, like a brother to me. How did this happen? He was in a car and a girl was crossing the road, not paying attention to the traffic light. And your son was brave. He tried to avoid the accident and the car overturned, and he died in the hospital after we took him there. Before he died, he told me that if anything happened to him, you should take his son, James. Take who? And why? Because James, unfortunately, is a bit of a pervert. What? How is that possible? Wasn't his father with him? He was already married, but his wife died giving birth to his son, Mickey. Very well, my boy. I'll come right away.
A whole day later, at James's house, his grandfather said to him angrily,
This is your father's will, James. You and your son will come with me, whether you like it or not. Grandfather, I can't. My whole life is here. My work and my friends. I'm 25. I'm not a child anymore. And you don't understand anything because you're an old man.
Then his grandfather slapped him hard and said,
I was wrong when I thought you were grown up. You only understand force. Either you come tomorrow or I'll take your son with me alone.
And his grandfather left, leaving James furious. That night, James received a call from a girl from the nightclub. Hello, darling. Where are you? You're so late.
I won't come.
Why? I'm upset with you.
I said I won't come.
Then I'll come to you. Send me your location.
No, I have a trip tomorrow and my son is here. Besides, I've told you many times that I don't like this approach.
He hung up on her. The next morning, James and his son Mickey arrived at Grandpa Alfred's house. James stood before his grandfather, and Mr. Alfred said,
Your son needs a mother, and since you don't intend to remarry, I'll get him a nanny. I won't leave my son with a strange woman. She won't be a stranger. She's your cousin. My cousin? Sophia?
Then he remembered his childhood sweetheart, Sophia, when they were little. James snapped out of his reverie at the sound of his grandfather's voice.
What's wrong? You've been lost in thought for a while. Sophia is in the guest room now. But pull yourself together. You've changed a lot. Is she more beautiful?
Grandpa thought to himself.
She's become something else entirely.
Suddenly, James was very surprised and exclaimed,
My goodness, who is this?
Dad, I don't want to be eaten. I'm young and I want to get married first. Sophia looked at them angrily and said, What's wrong with you two? Have you seen a ghost?
Don't worry, my dear. They're glad you're staying. Then he muttered inaudibly, Their reaction is perfectly normal. If I were them, I'd jump off the nearest balcony. Wonderful, Granddad. What a heavy-handed joke. Well, miss, go and call Sophia for us and tell her we've forgiven her for the shock.
Sophia looked at him with disgust and said, Why would I joke with you? I'm the nanny. What's your problem with how I look? I swear to God, James, if you don't shut up, I'll make you regret it. James swallowed nervously and said,
No, excuse me. Actually, it's best if you stay as you are. There's no need to trouble yourself.
Mickey laughed and said in a childish voice, That's wonderful. I see Daddy is afraid of a woman. Grandpa, you said I'd raise one child, but I see two.
You're right, my dear. Take care of them as you see fit, but keep an eye on this big one.
Sophia gave James a firm look and said, "Don't worry, Grandpa. I'll raise him the best I can. And I'll make you, James, walk around looking over your shoulder in fear." Grandpa laughed and left, but James grabbed him, saying fearfully,
Where are you going? Leaving me here, man? First, speak respectfully, or I'll have Sophia take complete control of you. Grandfather, this isn't right for me. Don't leave me like this. Take care of yourself. I wonder what will happen to me. I think I'll be eaten like a little fawn.
"What did you say?"
What happened to you, Sophia? You were so kind and gentle.
"I'm still nice, but only when necessary." Then she added jokingly, "Don't worry, I won't eat you. I ate a sheep the size of you just a little while ago."
And why did you eat him?
She said with a wicked smile, "Because it was playing a prank on me." "You don't eat children, do you?" Sophia laughed and said, "Stop it, I was just joking."
What? You're joking? Oh my God, how am I going to recover from this?
Sophia laughed, then bent down to Mickey's level and said gently, "Don't be afraid, little one. I'm only joking with your father to teach him some manners. As for you, I'll consider you like the son I never had, and I want you to consider me like your mother. Agreed?" "Agreed." James looked at her admiringly and whispered to himself,
You're still beautiful, and your heart is purer than ever.
A week later, Sophia was sitting in the palace courtyard at sunset, reading a horror novel aloud. James stood at a distance watching her and said in a low voice,
Her voice is so beautiful.
What do you think about marrying her?
No, of course not. If I married her, we'd need a whole restaurant to eat every day. Fine, don't marry her. Someone else will.
Then he approached her and said jokingly,
What, is the road closed? I can't pass?
"Pass. Or are you afraid of heavy things?"
I'm afraid the place will collapse.
She said confidently, "What I support never falls."
If you fell here, the place would shake.
Silence fell. "And if I fall, I'll get up again. And if I don't, I'll leave a mark. I'm not like you. If I pass by, no one notices me." James froze, unable to reply. He then turned away and sat far off. Mickey approached her and asked in a sad, childlike voice, "Are you sad?" She smiled and said, "No, my little one, but those who joke should know their limits." Then she gave James a brief look, a look that made his heart flutter involuntarily.
Several hours later, Sophia was sitting and playing with Mickey. She said to him, "Look, Mickey, the game is simple. When the song ends, we quickly sit down on the chair." Mickey laughed, remembering what his father had told him. The game began, and when the song stopped, Sophia sat down but couldn't get up because the chair was too small. She smiled calmly and said loudly enough for James, who was hiding behind the door. She knew he was the one who had done this. "Mickey, is the chair too small? Or is your father James's mind the smallest?" James's jaw dropped in shock, especially since Sophia moved around with the chair stuck to her, smiling, and didn't seem to care what James had done. That night, in the council chamber, after dinner, Mr. Alfred was sitting quietly, and Sophia was holding the tea tray. James sat down, trying to compose himself, because he saw a strange young man sitting next to Grandpa, and it turned out he was their neighbor.
Thank you, my dear. The tea is wonderful.
"Thank you, Grandpa." Then she started to leave, but James noticed Alex looking at her with excessive admiration.
This tea has a different taste. It's clear that a skilled woman made.
James coughed harshly and said coldly,
Have you drunk the tea, or are you still judging? What, James? I'm just joking. Joking too much becomes rude.
Mr. Alfred raised his eyes, smiling. He understood that jealousy was beginning to surface.
What's wrong, my boy? Why are you so tense? Nothing. I just don't like to exaggerate. Yes. And she doesn't like anyone looking at her.
James fell silent. For the first time, he had no answer. Sophia stood listening, understanding everything, then smiled faintly and went back to take the tray, saying, "Enjoy your meal."
Why did you come back?
"I only came to take the tray."
Did someone ask you to? No one asked you to. Go. Excessive jealousy isn't beautiful, my boy, but sometimes it reveals what's in the heart.
James tried to change the subject, but he couldn't deny his feelings. The next day, Sophia was coming out of the kitchen carrying a laundry basket, and James was waiting for her.
Sophia, what happened yesterday? Don't be angry.
She didn't reply, so he raised his voice slightly.
I didn't mean it. My jokes are a bit heavy-handed.
Heavy? No, it was worse than that.
That's just how I am. My tongue gets away with it.
And your dignity? Does it precede your tongue, or is it still behind it? He fell silent. Then he made another mistake and said,
I didn't expect you to be so affected.
She interrupted him immediately. That's not an apology. It's repeating the mistake.
Well, I made a mistake, and I hurt you, and I won't do it again.
That's better. An apology requires honesty and clarity. I don't get angry easily, but if I do, I know how to set boundaries. At that moment, Mickey came in and said, "Come on, Sophia. Grandpa says lunch is ready." Then Sophia turned to James and said, "Don't be late, or the food will get cold, and your apology is accepted." James stood there smiling, then left. But 2 days later, another incident with Alex made James lose his temper.
Does he think I'm naive, standing in front of me and flirting with you?
He didn't do anything, and I know how to put anyone in their place. But anger blinded him, and he said hurtful words.
What would he see in you anyway? Take care of yourself a little. What is this weight? You look like a walking elephant.
Sophia froze, tears welling in her eyes. Elephant? I'm an elephant?
Yes, an elephant. And a nuisance, too.
Well, this elephant won't be working here anymore.
Better. At least we can rest our eyes.
She ran to her room crying and gathered her things.
Where are you going, my girl?
I'm leaving, and I won't come back until I've accomplished something in my life. Mickey cried like a child and said, "Why, Dad? I love her more than Mom, and she loved you too." That's when James realized his mistake, and he ran after her, but he couldn't catch her. A year passed, and Sophia returned, but completely different, more beautiful and stronger. As for James, he spent his days weeping over his lost love. One day, he entered the palace. He saw a beautiful girl embracing Mr. Alfred and saying, "I missed you so much."
Grandpa, what are you doing? This isn't right.
"What's wrong with that, cousin?" James froze.
Sophia?
He took a step closer and said sincerely, without preamble,
I apologize for everything I did and said to you. I felt guilty every day while you were gone. I hope you can forgive me, Sophia. And will you marry me?
"Would you marry an elephant?"
I would be honored to marry you, no matter what, because I love you just the way you are.
She lowered her head shyly and said, "Yes." Finally, after a few days, the grand wedding took place amidst Mickey's singing, and that's the end of our story.